What's up, everybody? It's your boy KG. Welcome to episode 4, a special edition Father's Day. So shout out to all the fathers out there, and we're gonna be talking about a lot of different topics today. The first one is gonna be self-control, and the second one is gonna be accountability. So we're not gonna waste any other time. Let's go ahead and jump right into it right now. Again, like I said, shout out to all the fathers out there. Happy Father's Day. This year around is my first Father's Day, so I'm truly blessed and honored to be a father. And just to go through that experience, to know that everything that you're doing, you're just a reflection of what you want them to be in life. Now, with being a father, how important it is to not only say the things that you want your kids to do, but also walk in the walk. And it's kind of crazy now that I have the opportunity to be a father. I look back at my father, and I'm so grateful for the things that he's done for me and that he continues to do for me. So I want to give a big shout out to my father. If you know my dad, definitely send him some love, man. He's a father not only to me, but in the community, all my teammates and friends and family. He's always been a wonderful person. So shout out to him and happy Father's Day to him. I love you very much. So let's go ahead. Like I said, let's kick off with, self-control and accountability. I picked these two topics because they're things that, currently right now that I'm working on for myself, but I felt like it would be great to share with you guys. And to start things off, like I said, with self-control, this is something where me and my brother, my big brother, we were having a conversation about self-control and how it's so important. It kind of is the key that unlocks all the other doors and blessings in our lives, because with self-control, you can use it in all aspects of your life, whether that's you creating new goals in your life that you want to accomplish, or if you want to remove old habits, bad habits that you can remove out of your life. And that's very important. So when we're talking about, self-control, it's thinking like, okay, self-control can be with anything. So if I say, hey, you know what, I want to lose weight, self-control comes with that. So if I say I want to lose weight, okay, I got to have self-control to not go into the cabinet later at night. I got to have self-control to say, hey, you know what, I ate too much. I'm not going to make myself over full. Secondly, if you're looking to drop bad habits from your life, that's another thing for self-control. So if you say, you know what, I don't want to curse anymore, maybe you stop hanging around people that curse, or maybe you stop listening to music or videos or things that have curse words or anything of that nature in it. So now that stops you from, that habit that you have in your life. Or maybe you're saying, I want to, stop smoking, I want to stop drinking. So maybe you have that self-control to say, you know what, I'm not even going to go to the environments or the people that are around those areas that do those different things, because then that'll help me to have more self-control. And I think that's the biggest thing with self-control, is being self-aware, like knowing, okay, you know what, this is an opportunity that I have in my life. You know what, I can't be around these certain people, or I can't be in this certain environment. And then that allows us to create that discipline. And with that self-control, you have that discipline to say, you know what, I'm self-aware, I can't be in this area, I can't be around these people, because it automatically sets off those triggers for us to go back into our normal habits of doing certain things. So when we have that self-control, what comes with that, you have the discipline, you have the self-awareness to make those right decisions. And that's why it's so important to have that in your life. And if you didn't know, God gives us that spirit of self-control, so we have control. And even if you struggling to figure out, okay, God says I have self-control. And I think that's one thing that we always run into, is like God tells us that we have these abilities to have self-control, but you're like, how do I get it? How do I tap into it? And that's when it starts with having that personal relationship with God, and through prayer, through constant reading of the Bible, and building that relationship with him, you can start to feel that self-control. You can start to get that discernment when you're falling into certain situations, to say, okay, you know what, okay, what do I need to do right now? In this moment, I need to stop and think about all the different opportunities that I have, and look at it and say, okay, if I do this, what is the outcome of this? If I, what's the outcome that's going to happen if I go forward with making this decision? And I think that that's helped me a lot. A lot of times I just take that opportunity to step back when making a decision and say, okay, how is this going to impact me? How is this going to impact, my family, my marriage, my child? And that is one thing that helps me out a lot when I go through different situations of making decisions when dealing with self-control. So, and it doesn't have to be something that's on a huge scale, but it can be even something, like I said, as small as you're looking to, weight loss. You're looking at it as like, okay, how can I have more self-control? If I know I like ice cream, I like donuts, maybe I don't buy those. Maybe I don't buy those products to even put in my cabinet. So now for me to get it, I have to get in the car. I have to drive to Sonic. I have to drive to McDonald's. I have to drive to the grocery store. All these different things. So that just gives you more time when you're starting that car. Like it's 10:30 at night. You're like, okay, I'm going to get ice cream. When in actuality, I really don't need ice cream. I need to, maybe I can just eat something healthy. Maybe I can eat some fruit. Maybe I could drink a glass of water, go to sleep, and then the next morning I made it through one day, and now I just continue that process moving forward. So that was the first thing, was self-control. So hopefully that was great information for you guys to take away from that, how important self-control is, and it helps us in all aspects of our life. The second one is accountability. And this is a two-headed monster. So you can look at it for the sense of accountability is having self-accountability, but then also having an accountability partner. And for self-accountability, this kind of ties right back in with the self-control. When you know that there's things that you're struggling with, or you're trying to obtain a new goal, you have to hold yourself accountable. For example, when I was thinking about, writing my book, I had to lay out a process for myself to say, okay, you know what? Every week there's 7 days. How many hours am I going to spend each week on this book? And once I laid that out, I held myself accountable. But then the second part of it is having an accountability partner. So I knew that I wanted to etch out this time every single week to say I'm going to spend time to write this book. But then I had needed to tell someone else because they need to help hold me accountable. And the most important part when you're looking for accountability partners, to not look for somebody that's going to be nice, that's going to tell you the things that you want to hear. You need somebody that's going to push you to the limit, because you want to reach a new plateau. You want to reach a new level in life or in that area that you're struggling with. So it's very important that we pick somebody that's going to hold us, to a hard standard. And for me, that's my brother. My brother is a person that I can go to him at all times, and it doesn't matter what we're talking about. I can say, hey, I'm doing this, and he's going to hold me accountable to it. And it's all from a place of love. When he's giving me tough love, like, hey, you said you're going to do this. We're still having this conversation 2-3 months later. What are you doing? What tactics are you using to create self-control? What things are you doing to hold yourself accountable personally? And those are, sometimes you don't want to hear that information. When people are coming down on you, you're hearing that feedback, that positive feedback, that constructive criticism. Sometimes you don't want to hear it, but the thing about it is that when we do take the time to listen to constructive criticism, it helps us out, and that makes us better, because it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, you're always going to hear criticism. But it's a difference when it's constructive criticism, because the person is coming from a place of wanting to better you. And when you have somebody that's going that mile, that's reaching out to you through a text message, a call, to say, hey, how's that new project you're doing? How you're doing with the new goal that you set? Have you been going to the gym? Have you been running those extra miles? Have you been eating the right things? Those are people who love you, because life is so consuming, as we already know. You can get through an entire week and not communicate with somebody. You're like, wow, the entire week went by. But for somebody to take their time out to say, hey, let me check out on my friend and see how they're doing. Let me see how they're doing with their goal, or the challenge that they're dealing with, or the habit that they're trying to remove. That's a person that truly loves you. So I think that's the biggest thing when we have accountability, making sure, one, that we have self-accountability. And again, that goes back to that self-awareness conversation. Okay, you have to be aware to know, you know what, I need to hold myself accountable before I even bring in an accountability partner. And accountability partner brings that outside perspective and that push that we need to bring us to that next level in life. And it's so funny, because if you think about it, if you're going to the gym, most people, if you haven't been to the gym in a while, or you go through that process of, I sign up for the gym around New Year's, then I fall back out around February, March, and then you go back again, then you fall back out. And then what the person that does it, they have self-awareness. They say, you know what, I'm going to get a trainer. So that's holding yourself accountable. You're aware of what's going on around you to say, you know what, I need somebody else that's going to hold me accountable, that's going to text me and say, hey, you coming to the gym today? And that's going to, pick us up from that point. So those are the things that we need, because when you have a trainer and they're pushing you hard, they're telling you positive stuff. Hey, come on, one more set. You got this. 30 more seconds. Oh, 10 more reps. You got it. Come on, let's go. We need that push, because life in itself is so hard. But when you have somebody rooting on your side, that's a cheerleader, that's giving you that powerful words of affirmation every single day or whenever you need it in your low moments, that's what's going to help us reach those goals that we want to reach, and that's going to help us remove those bad habits that we have in our life. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys that on this wonderful Father's Day edition. Some of the things that we need, and this is great for the fathers that are in the home, but also the woman as well. But, I wanted to make this a special Father's Day edition because as fathers, we need self-control. We need accountability, and we have to set the tone, set the table for our houses. So it all follows behind us. If we have self-control as a father, to not maybe yell and go crazy in front of our kids, now our kids see that. Now instead of them going to school and not having self-control and getting angry because they're upset about something, now they're able to see what it's like for someone to go through and say, okay, you know what? I am upset. I'm self-aware of that. I'm going to be more calm with my response that I bring out. And then I'm also holding myself accountable because I'm looking at it from the person that holds us accountable as husbands is God. And that's one of the most important things. I think we can look at it and say, hey, we have to have self-accountability and have a accountability partner. But the person that's going to hold us the most accountable when you have a relationship with him is going to be God. And that's the thing for me that keeps me aligned with where I'm at in life, because we all know it. We all have a conscience, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. But when you go and you do something that's wrong, you're like, it's wrong. And when you do something that's right, you feel really good. You feel fulfilled. So that's the best thing that God gives us, is that discernment to know when we're doing right and when we're doing wrong. But as you grow and you build a stronger relationship with God, you become more and more aware of like, okay, you know what? I thought that this was okay maybe 5 years ago. But now sometimes God gives us that revelation randomly. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that was an opportunity that I need to better myself in that area. So just definitely take all of that in. I know that right now we're going to be wrapping it up. We're going to go to our fan favorites. What we have is the 3 takeaways for this conversation. And I want to make sure that you guys are taking this in and not only taking it in, but implementing in your life. So definitely leave your comments, remarks. Let me know if this stuff is resonating with you guys and if you're enjoying the conversations that we're having every Sunday. But the 3 takeaways that we have, the first one is going to be self-control. Self-control is very important because it's the keys to success. If you have self-control in your life and anything that you're trying to do, all aspects, it's going to open up many doors in your life. It's going to allow you to not be in the same season that you're in for your, sometimes we get in those points where we're like, wow, like, I'm still in the same season. Why does God have me in the same season throughout my entire life? Sometimes it's self-control. God doesn't want to move us to that next level in our life because we don't have the self-control. If he gives us that next level in our life and we get it prematurely, we're going to make a fool of ourselves. So sometimes we have to wait on God because at the end of the day, he's truly waiting on us, so that's the true of the situation, is that we have to gain that self-control. If you're in a season right now, you're like, okay, I'm struggling, I can't get over this hump, but with this bad habit, or maybe you're trying to reach a new goal and you're like, why can't I get to it? Look at the entire situation, write it down on a piece of paper and say, okay, where do I continuously fall short at? And that's where that self-awareness comes into play to say, hey, you know what? I am struggling in this area. I need help. And then that leads to our next takeaway, which is going to be accountability partner. Now that you're have that self-awareness to know that you have some opportunities, you wrote it down on a piece of paper, find an accountability partner. And again, as we spoke about earlier in this episode, let's not find somebody that we know is going to be nice, they're not going to truly check on us, or don't find someone that's doing the same thing that you're doing. If you know that you want to remove a bad habit from your life and you go to your friend and you smoke with your friend and you say, hey man, I'm going to stop smoking, can you hold me accountable? In some cases, that person might help you, but more times than not, that person is going to be a person that's going to trigger you to go back to your same situation. So you want to find somebody that's going to hold you accountable, but come from a place of love. And for me, like I said, I have my brother. We have a bond that's inseparable, and I know that if he's telling me to do something, I know it's coming from a place of love, and he can get on me, and I'm going to look at it like, oh yeah, I don't want to hear that. But at the end of the day, I know that he's coming from a place of love, and he's trying to help me and which in turn he wants to help me so I can help my family. I can be a better leader. I can be a better husband. I can be a better father. So you want somebody that's going to pour into you from that perspective. And then lastly is self-awareness. Self-awareness ties right back to self-control and finding an accountability partner. You have to be self-aware. You have to be able to look in the mirror and say, wow, you know what? I'm struggling in this area. There's some things I need to work on. I can be better. And then from that point, once you figure out what those opportunities are, now create an action plan. We want to write it down on a piece of paper and say, okay, you know what? I'm struggling with this. What do I need to do to get to the other side of it? And that's when you write down those couple bullets to say, okay, if, for example, if you're doing that, say, hey, you know what? I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay, so on one side you have, I want to lose weight. On the other side, you have, I want to lose 20 pounds. How do I get to that 20 pounds less goal? And then in the middle between there, you write 3 or 4 bullets to say, okay, what am I going to do? Okay, I'm going to remove snacks from my grocery list. I'm going to start weighing out my food as I eat it. I'm going to drink more water throughout the day. I'm also going to exercise 3 to 5 days out of a week. So now you create that action plan. And now once you create that action plan, put that on your wall. Put that on your mirror in the morning when you're brushing your teeth. Put it on the door when you're leaving out. Put it on your computer screen. Maybe take a screenshot of it and put it on the front of your phone, because we always going through our phone every single day. You know, some people open up their phone and spend so much screen time on their phone. Think about it. That's a constant reminder to put yourself in that situation of, okay, you know, if I'm always on my phone, that's self-awareness, putting my action list on there so I see it. I hold myself accountable. I have that the accountability, and then now that creates that self-control because that's a constant reminder. So those are the 3 takeaways. I hope that you guys are enjoying this journey with me on free knowledge. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in again. To all the fathers out there, again, happy Father's Day. I love you guys. Look forward to talking to you guys next week, and have a good one. Love is love. Peace.